The Trek Geeks Podcast Network is proud to have Fansets as its presenting sponsor. Fansets is the place for amazing pin collectibles with over 300 officially licensed Star Trek pins and new releases every month. Stay tuned for a special discount code good on your next order at fansets.com just for Discovering Trek listeners. Fansets, our pins have character.
Hey there, Discovering Trek listeners. Kasey here with Sara, and this is Discovering Trek Enterprise. Welcome to the First Frontier. We're about to chat about Enterprise, Episode 4, Strange New World. It aired way back in 2001, October-ish, I believe. So if you haven't watched it, then it's really strange that you're listening to this podcast at all. Please go back, hit up Paramount Plus, watch the episode, come right back here, listen to us. And guess what? That's it. That's your non-warning spoiler warning.
So before we discuss Strange New World, we always want to hear from our listeners about their thoughts on everything Enterprise. So how can they get in touch with us for their thoughts on this first season of Enterprise?
Oh, if you're looking to get in touch with us, there's a bunch of ways you can do that. Of course, you can go to trekgeeks.com/contact and find a variety of ways to get us your thoughts. And on Twitter or Facebook, all you have to do is search for Discovering Trek. We welcome all of your questions and comments. You can also leave us a voicemail by visiting our website at trekgeeks.com and click on the big blue button. It doesn't look like pizza. It looks like a big blue button. So please remember, though, any comments you leave us might be used in a future episode of Discovering Trek.
We did it. For all you listeners, that was a struggle because I forgot to edit my script and it was all referring to TV show Discovery, not Enterprise. Oopsies. And I was like, oh, and that's not the right episode. And oh, I didn't do my homework properly. But I think I covered it pretty well. And I'll fully admit my error. It's okay. We're only human.
Hey.
So slices of pie. Pizza pie.
I know. I'm so jealous. You got pizza going on right now. It's like, that sounds delicious. And speaking of delicious, Sara, what was your thoughts? How many pie slices did you give this episode?
I'm going to finish chewing my pizza right now, and I'm going to be professional here. I gave this episode 5 out of 6 slices of pie. I really liked this episode. It was spooky. It kind of had an X-Files feel to it, because I remember an episode on X-Files that was kind of like this. And I like the way Archer took charge, making sure that Trip didn't shoot to Paul. Good job.
Yeah.
Good save.
It was a nice save.
You did your job finally.
Right? I concur with you here. 5 out of 6 slices of pie. I love ghost stories. And this episode pretty much had a fun vibe to it. I'm not sure if my rank of pies is high this week because of the actual episode or because this episode was way better to me than the others so far.
Yeah.
But we'll find out about, our thoughts and if our pie slices concur with our thoughts. But I'm going to give you a little episode recap right now.
I'm excited for this.
And since we've decided to shove ourselves in a corner and make things tough, here we go. We're rhyming again.
It's going to be, this is our moneymaker, man. This book of poems is going to get us some serious, what's the big award you get as a writer? Like a Peabody or something? I see it.
Okay. That'd be great. Residuals for decades to come. So here we go, everybody. The NX-01 comes upon a mysterious planet. T'Pol suggests patience, while Archer declares, "We're going, damn it!" Cutler and the others listen to Travis's ghostly tale by the fire, when a blustery wind envelops the camp, creating quite the quagmire. While T'Pol looks on without fear or a shrug, Tucker loses his freaked out by a bug. A pod tries to land, but a rock face it scrapes with a crash. Would not have happened if the captain had listened instead of acting so rash. What quickly ensues are accusations and confusion, all due to a pollen, which causes paranoid delusion. A crewman gets beamed up, 1, 2, 3. Now he's part man, and literally part tree. Archer hatches a sneaky plan to get Trip to lower his gun. Luckily for Tucker, T'Pol's phase pistol was set to stun. In the cave, they are all saved by a medical shot administered by T'Pol, the human. She is not. Some of the crew come off kind of stupid, but do we see something start? Thanks to little old Cupid?
Bravo! That was great. We've really set ourselves up for this is a delight each episode. I've already got mine written for the next episode, and I'm excited. Like, this is a challenge I'm enjoying.
You! Good for you. Ahead in the homework. Yeah, it is kind of an enjoyable thing, and then kind of, what's going to happen this time?
It gets a little frustrating in there with some words. I find I use a lot of the same simple words because they're easy. They have lots of rhymes. Cat, hat, sat, bat. There's no cat or bat in this episode, but I'm finding a way to use it. Like, oh, I love it.
Hey, you never know.
For the sake of rhyming, there's no dog on the ship. There's a cat, and although dog, log, pog.
Og.
Okay. I gotta remember
frog.
That.
Yeah. You've set yourself up nicely.
All right, Porthos. You need an episode, bud. I'm waiting for you.
Oh,
that was awesome. Thank you.
Oh, hey, you're welcome. Here to serve. But hey, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on this episode, my friend?
Okay, I gave it 5 out of 6 because I did like the episode, but I do still have some issues with a few things.
Yes.
Like I get what they're trying to do with throwing it in our face that this is pre-TOS and early on in technology, but the camera and the baseball caps and reading books, I was like, are you kind of go back from the 90s to the 80s to the 50s too? Like, what's with the, like,
yeah,
it was, when this was done, we had fancier cameras than that. Basically a Polaroid digital, like, it was brutal. And I was like, I don't know. I find it all kind of silly to see all that kind of stuff. But that's just my opinion. It's no different than the CD tower I tweeted out the other week. I'm like, it's legit a CD tower.
Yeah.
Like, what is this?
No, that all makes sense. It's I keep wondering, they were like, how do we ground this? How do we ground it? How do we make it so that, it's more like how people are right now? And boy, when that camera came out, I was out of the episode instantly. I was just like, real? Wow. Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
That scene got me for 2 reasons. 1, I hated the camera, and 2, I hated Archer telling T'Pol to smile. How dare you?
The writing on this was, they just keep, I keep wondering how they were either trying to pull in some of Bakula's charm that you saw in other projects, or a little more lightheartedness or something, but it's like, nah, this is just coming off snarky and sexist and
unwelcome. And it's funny because, like, this whole first half of the episode, I was just still on that kind of arms crossed, snarling, like, don't like this guy. Don't like, he really redeemed himself at the end of the episode. But in the beginning, between the telling her to smile and putting his arm around her, like kind of bugging her about the whole photo, allowing his dog to go on the mission to start. I mean, it was just extremely unprofessional at the whole beginning that I was like, oh man, this guy is a dud. I would not want to be serving under this captain.
I hear you. All of that. And I mean, all right, you bring your pup. You really don't know what's on this planet. And like, a dog isn't just going to go sniff or step into anything and everything. And did they decon Portos coming up?
Yeah.
Because I doubt it.
Please.
Whatever it is. And also had like, hey, you're 15 minutes late, Captain, to, where we're all supposed to meet. Why am I having to babysit you?
He's supposed to be setting a tone, and he's not. People are looking up to him, and he's all Mr. Got my baseball cap and my camera. You're not on vacation, dude.
Yeah.
You shouldn't even be on that planet.
Right. And hey, we want to camp here with these others that are actually working. Oh, sure. That's fine.
Have a vacation.
No worries. What was it, an episode earlier? He wasn't wanting Trip to go anywhere because the ship is new.
Yeah.
So.
Flippy floppy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
We can take that and we can move it on over to how he did redeem himself, because there are some great scenes and Archer had some great moments, like his play acting to save the crew. I thought that was a really good move. It was on the feet. It was smart. And it was like, I liked it. I thought that was a good way to kind of weasel through the storyline of what was going on. What did you think?
I think so too, because it's like, why is this guy captain? So you have to show some good redeeming qualities. And with him thinking on his feet and just, basically scrambling to cover poor decisions, and then making much better decisions and thinking of what will work the best with this guy on the planet that I've known for quite some time. And realizing that T'Pol is smart enough to figure out what the heck's going on. And, doing everything and working where she's, speaking Vulcan. So Trip doesn't know what the heck is going on. Archer comes through here and even, shows a bit of bravery of, bringing the shuttle pod down in that, crazy storm and trying. Like, okay, I'm going to try to get down there and save my crew and do what needs to be done. That's when, like you said, there's the spark of this character. Go, well, I want to see more of this guy. Yeah, that would be lovely. And hey, what about Travis? I love that this dude is an exquisite storyteller. Just pulls that campfire ghost story and he kind of dives into the rhythm and going to be talking a little bit lower to bring everybody, closer in and closer in. And I was like, oh man, I would love to hear a lot more of what he's lived through, Boomer. And could be writing kids' supernatural books, Travis's terrestrial tales. Brought to you by Camp Crystal Entity, something like that. I don't know.
Perfect. I love it.
Right?
I want the t-shirt.
But it was like, hey, here's a crew person that we kind of know with two other crew people we don't know at all. And it's like, well, let's develop who the main cast is a little bit more. Yeah. And I thought that scene went on for a lot longer than I thought it would. Yeah. I mean, they went in. Yeah.
I like that scene too, because I thought that's the T'Pol that I like too. Not completely overdoing the annoyed, but just kind of sitting there like, God, like, here we go again. Like just quietly, like thinking to herself, why am I here? Like, this is ridiculous. But it was just so well done. Like just the visual of it, them there and her just kind of sitting off to the side. Like that whole scene, I think was just really well played out. I liked it. It's very realistic.
She was the adult at camp, making sure she's the head counselor at that time. And it's like, okay, she's going to make sure nothing bad happens there. Oh, man.
Yeah. And we had two new people we've never seen before.
Cutler and like I say this guy's name, Novakovic or Novakovic or whichever way, Novakovic. Yeah. And it's like, I really thought they were going to be fodder. Yeah. I thought they were going to be killed. It's like, oh, you've introduced these two. So you can kill people off.
Red shirts.
Nobody cares about. They didn't die. Maybe we get more of them in the future.
And I thought that Novakovic had, and I totally thought he had. And then at the end there, you get that little bit of a surprise with Dr. Phlox that was kind of saying like, oh, he came out of it. Or they told them when they were coming back up, like, but I thought when Phlox was given the update to Archer, he was like, yeah, we lost him. And I was like, oh.
Oh, well, when you so beam in tree into yourself and
oh, classic. All right.
Oh, you know what time it is?
Tool time. Tell me.
Maybe. Oh, it's time to talk about our friends at Fansets. Oh my goodness gracious. Discovering listeners, we're taking this moment thank our friends over at Fansets for being the exclusive sponsor on Discovering Trek. They're always working to put out the best product available and to continue to surprise us and delight us with new designs, product releases, and just amazing stuff. There's some great new Trek products out. Make sure you go back to Fansets every single week and see what's been released. Plus, they have tons of non-Trek stuff like Harry Potter, DC Comics, The World of Irwin Allen, Ultraman, Scooby-Doo. Come on, go get them. There's tons of pins and accessories for you at fansets.com. So boot up the internet, use all your senses, navigate their website, put a ton of stuff in your cart, and then enter the special code word Discovering Trek in all caps, no spaces, at checkout, and get an amazing 10% off your entire order.
And right now, Fansets is giving listeners of the Trek Geeks Podcast Network the exclusive opportunity to help select the next pin in their Women of Trek collection. Folks who vote will also be entered in a random drawing to win a Women of Trek Master set and a full set of the Series 2 pins. So go to trekgeeks.com/vote and vote. Winner will be selected on April 1st. And this is not an April Fool's joke, people. Fansets. Our pins have character. And we thank our friends at Fansets for being the presenting sponsor of the Trek Geeks Podcast Network.
Woohoo! Very nice. All right. I can smell something's a cooking. Not quite sure what it is, but it sure smells like it might be Chef's Special of the Day.
What's on the menu?
Well, on the menu today, I checked it out, and I think we need to talk about a Southern boy from Florida being so freaked out by a bug. I mean, isn't he used to gators, snakes, all that kind of creepy crawly stuff? And I didn't know what to make of that character development there. Was it?
I think that the whole introduction of the creepy crawlies for him and for the entomologist that went down and it was swiping away at bugs, yet she's supposed to care about. Both of them had a little bit of a thing. But for Trip, I thought it was, I don't know, I kind of liked it. It's kind of like when you look at the episode as a whole, the way it sets him up is like, he's so scary at the end of that episode where you think he's going to kill and he's out for blood, but it's also like, he's also easily scared. So is his anger fear-based? Is it rational? Is it not rational? I think it was I don't know. I think he probably didn't do all that much swamp animal gator wrestling that we thought we did. I think there's a little bit of talk there. What do you think?
I think so too. Because Travis in that tent is just like looking at him like, seriously, dude? It's, okay, it's a bug.
To fall in her tent with her, do you require assistance? Like, she's so done. I love it. I would have been the same way.
It was perfect. I was laughing. That's the one where you're laughing at somebody, but you don't laugh at them. And you're like, hey, do you need any help?
Yeah.
You okay there? You okay there, big fella?
You seem to be overreacting, friend.
Yeah, that might be an issue. Oh, my goodness. So, yeah, I found that very funny. And then going back to what we talked about a little bit earlier, what did you think about, four episodes in or so, we're introducing 2 new cast members right at the beginning of the episode, okay? And why these 2 who don't, from my point of view, don't serve a narrative purpose that couldn't have been filled by 2 other of the main characters to get to know everybody deeper. What did you think about these 2 newbies?
I liked them. I didn't think it was too strange because I find it more strange when a crew is new and the captain's sending down all the most important people to a planet they know nothing about. That's a little bit more of a risk, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And an entomologist it's no different than Keiko going on a couple of trips because she's the botanist. We need a specialist for some plants like that. These people have jobs to do and they deserve a chance to rank up. And so getting experience is the way to rank up. And so I thought it was a good, I like a big crew. That's what I like to. I often like a lot of the side characters in shows. I don't need to. I liked the Guinans and the Chief O'Briens in TNG, and I liked, Discovery's got a huge cast of characters, and I like the the Jet Renos and the people that come in a little bit, because they just bring out something else maybe to help someone's main character's storyline kind of get changed. And yeah, I thought it was I think that if they weren't there, it would have been like, let's say it was, oh no, what's his name? I'm Dominic Keating's character.
Malcolm.
Yeah, like
Reed.
if Malcolm and Hoshi were down there, and it would just be like, okay, like, are they all gonna be a risk at dying? Like, what would have been Hoshi's purpose to go?
Yeah,
what would have been Reed's purpose to go?
There's a definite bleed of responsibilities depending on which character is doing something that I found that doesn't make sense. And I was glad that these characters didn't die off, hoping that then they do build more of the world on that ship for us in the future, like you're saying. And I mean, you see other people in the background on the bridge, not a lot, but a few. And it's like, okay, you know, what's going to happen here? And like you said, when you can build depth and richness through other characters and not just use them to bring them up, to kill them off, it's like, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, especially because this show is setting the precedent of being the first. So they're the first Starfleet ship to be going out there. So everybody on that ship is the first in their family, is the first in that graduating class, this is a big deal for every person on that ship. And I think that means that each of those people should have a little bit of time, because it's a huge deal for all of them. It's not the Enterprise where it's like, this is the 47th Enterprise and we're just doing what we always do and we get in a couple of battles and we do a couple of things. Or Deep Space Nine, people have always lived on this and now we're switching it up. It's like Discovery. Like, I really hope that we get to see even more of the people who went 900 years into the future and gave up everything, because that's a huge thing that affects everybody on that ship.
Right. Oh yeah. And that's would be lovely. I mean, I don't know, what is the crew complement for this Enterprise, like 83 people or 85, something like that. Yeah. So plenty of opportunities for stories.
I hope so.
And investment in other characters.
It's a bonding thing. It's no different than COVID-19. Everyone in the world is dealing with this. So everybody in the world can relate to other people in other parts of the world about this is something that we're all struggling with. So it's just like all these people on the ship, they're all together experiencing the same thing for the first time. And it should bond them and bring them together more. So I hope that, as somebody who hasn't seen the other seasons, I hope we get to see more of these random people come in and come out. But I don't know. I don't have too many big expectations. I see your face and I'm thinking I should just shut up right now.
No, I keep catching myself to not say things so that you experience the episodes without any shading of any kind from me. And also that things go into my mind of, boy, wouldn't it have been great if they had done blank instead of whatever. So you know, I'm just gonna zip it.
You must zip it. Boom, 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 boom. Are we going to the Enterprise Fun House?
Think so.
I found a couple of goofs courtesy of Internet Movie Database. And then I'm going to jump at you with a last minute Sarah's question corner.
Ooh, all right.
Possibly. We'll see. All right. As they leave the shuttle after landing on the planet, a house appears to be within the trees in the background to the left. I got to go back and look for that.
I have to look at that too. Wouldn't that have been funny if the house was there the whole time and their scanners were just kind of screwed up and they look and they go, hey, check out that cool cabin. We could have stayed in that.
Oh, this is the start of Voyager. I'm so confused. They're having a hoedown. And the clearing in the closing scene shows lawnmower lines. So whoever lives in that house was recently doing some lawn maintenance.
I think it's a very tedious job to mow that lawn. And after you're done with it, you just go back to the cabin. You pop a few road sodas and you call it a day. And if there's unwelcome visitors, you don't answer the door. You're just like, nah, that's fine. No, thank you.
When Trip is shouting at T'Pol in the cave, all of his lines echo except for one, which not only sounds different, but is missing the echo because it was redubbed in post-production.
I did not catch that at all.
I didn't. That is such a subtle error.
I was too into looking for all the rock people and where were they going to come up from.
Did you notice any other little items that you thought were kind of silly, like how I mentioned the book and the baseball caps and cameras? Was there anything else that maybe I didn't catch?
I thought by then we would have had a major advancement in tents.
Yeah.
Because those just looked... Okay, you weren't ready for, hurricane, tornado type winds coming up and all that, but it just looked like, wow, these are super flimsy. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't feel protected in them in any way at all. And darn it, aren't we in the future now? Shouldn't we have something that would be like a very easy, semi-rigid structure to be able to put up some kind, or
stay
just
in the
even
thing,
or people saying, just regular camping, maybe not setting up camp in the middle of a clearing, maybe closer to other things that can block wind, or if you have to put your food up high so bears don't get to it. Something like that. I didn't see anything else. How about...
You'd think that they would have something that was like heated. Like they shouldn't be starting a fire on a planet that maybe has never seen fire before. We don't know this planet is used to the 4 elements. Like, you know what I mean? Like, maybe we go to a planet, we burn wood, and it's actually a catastrophic result of doing that. Like,
right? Yeah.
Maybe just have a heated tent. It doesn't have to be like a Harry Potter tent. It doesn't need to have 4 floors and a fireplace. But I mean, something would be good.
The sentient trees did not appreciate that fire.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. That was fun. That was interesting.
It just feels to me like the writers made a mistake when they were doing stuff, thinking like, okay, this is an early show. This has to be like old school, but not older than 2001. Like it's supposed to be earlier than TOS. Like I just felt like in some ways they were going backwards from the date they were working, not the date of the future. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm never going to forget those speakers and CDs. I'm never going to get over it. I want a tattoo of that CD tower as my homage to Enterprise.
Wow. Okay. On your forehead. I'll pay for it. But other than that, oh my goodness. Also the, I love the convenience of the cave being, nearby-ish, and, being in there, and it's a spooky episode. It's a creepy episode. Yeah. And caves that big, supposedly no life forms or whatever, but there's bugs and such. So what's living in there? This
is also the thing that kind of bugs me about the technology in this show. First, it was the, actually, this is the next episode, so I'm getting ahead of myself. But it plays into this is the whole. How do they know that they're so new and everything's brand new and their sensors don't detect anything? How do we know that their sensors are able to pick up what could be a different type of life form? I mean,
right.
It's like their translator they have on the ship. It's like, oh wow, like it's better than anything that. It just seems to be very, very convenient. And I wouldn't personally, if I was on that ship and it said, "Oh, the sensors detected life forms," I'd be like,
It's like, well, maybe let's get a visual and see what it is.
Take our time, like the Vulcans do. Maybe do a couple of geo surveys or something.
Right.
Okay. So this comes
a little bit of patience.
A little bit of patience. So here's my question, and this is a good, like, not serious, but like, I think it's a good question. I'm very proud of myself for coming up with it on the fly. If you, Kasey Shafsky, were T'Pol, like that was your job was to be that science officer, or you were the second in command or whatever, how would you have dealt with that whole bringing my dog, we're gonna rush and go down there, I'm 15 minutes late? What would you have done?
You nip that in the bud from point zero of just like, no, that is, Captain, that's irresponsible. We have no idea what we could be getting people into. So let's be adult about this and show some patience and run some tests. The planet isn't going anywhere. We're going to be right here. You have no idea what the effect of this planet may have on the animal you love so much. So is this for you or is this for your dog? And I'd say these things in front of the rest of the bridge crew to, put a little stank on it and just say, everybody needs to be thinking about this. I may be addressing you, Captain, directly, but this is foolishness of going down there without. I mean, it's like people who, you go, if you really go camping and there's a lake and you see a ton of people, diving into a lake without checking first, how deep's the water? Are there other rocks, sunken logs, stuff like that? And it's like, no, you walk out there, you wade out there, you see how long it takes before the water is over your head. Okay, hey, there's a rope swing here. How long has it been up there?
Yeah.
Let some other idiots go first and see if the branch snaps and that, you don't break your neck. It's like, I've done that. I've seen stuff and I go, yeah, I'm not doing that first. No. You guys are idiots. And to really, it's like, yes, we're here to explore, but if we die, we can't explore anymore. How about you? How would you deal with our chair?
See, this is where I have a very different answer, because having observed him for 3 or 4 episodes, I can tell that he is the kind of guy that wouldn't want to hear that from a woman in front of other people. Just like how T'Pol says it, like that to him would be so deflating as a man for a woman to be like calling him out in front of his crew. So I'd probably slap him up back the head in private and be like, this is, irresponsible. You're acting like a child. You're impatient. We have all the time in the world. This is dangerous for this reason. Bring the science, bring the fact. But I'd totally call him out on being late in front of everybody, because that's the thing that is a little bit less, it's a little minor thing. It's like a little nitpicky thing. And I think it's okay to just take it on the chin as a nitpicking thing. But when it comes to the big stuff, like I just don't see him being, I think he'd listen more to you as a man, because that's the kind of that's the read I get on him so far of his behavior.
I gotcha.
You know what I mean?
I hear you. I
wouldn't take the job, actually.
I wouldn't take the gig either. I don't think he'd listen either way.
Yeah.
I would be saying it for my own sense of peace of like, hey, I warned you.
Yeah. If the day I met him, he threatened to smack me upside the head, I'd probably not be interested in taking the job. I'd be like, I can go to the Enterprise, the next one going out. What's the second ship going out?
Oh yeah. The NX-02. You know what? I might just do that. Cause this is, I think we've all run into those dudes where you're like, you know what?
Yeah.
Okay. Peace out. I gave you an option here just to be safe and you didn't take it. So
out of pure stubbornness and spite, what I would do is I would I'd get my medical degree, and then I'd come back to be the doctor, because the doctor can give orders to him. And I want to find a way where I can have a rank above him. And I can that's what I would do. I'm going to go to school and I'm going to get even smarter and I'm going to be a doctor, and then I'm going to order you to your quarters all the time. I'm going to make up stuff. I'm going to make your life a living. That's what I would do.
Whatever it takes on certain things here for our chair to
smile, man.
To that right. I just like, it's a pig. The attempts of the humor in the writing here also fall flat, and it just because it just doesn't work.
There's a way to like make that joke, and there's a way not to. He did it the wrong way. The right way would have been like, okay, everybody make sure you smile, T'Pol included. Like do like that's the way of being just like, oh, I'm the goofy guy right now. I probably shouldn't say it, but it's harmless, as opposed to like arm around her, like, come on, smile, like, oh, I'm gonna noogie you if you don't, like, just don't touch me, don't, especially because he knows her. He knows that he's pushing her buttons. He's doing it on purpose because she's a Vulcan. They they tease her all the time, whether it's the food she's eating, everyone's making such a thing about how can we make her even more uncomfortable. And it's like, come on, like, it's like a sports team hazing the new kid on the team. And it's like, leave them alone. Like,
it's a D move, most definitely. And yeah, that's where it's like, that's where at times I would think, Trip would go to his buddy, go, hey pal, let's dial that back.
And how good was the acting in this for Connor and Jolene? I thought that they were amazing. I thought there was some great chemistry there. There was some good storytelling there. There was great acting. I think that the two of them really shone in this episode, and it was really exciting because having never really remembered the show and watching it, like, he is coming out as such a big star in this show right now.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, those two play well off each other.
They have a chemistry.
There is a chemistry there, most definitely. And Trip once again proves to be the most human character of just excited and then scared and then terrified and confused and trying to do the right thing and not sure who to trust, but then believes in that trust and does action to show that, and then takes that stun shot. And I was like, hey, to Paul, I was like, good, shoot him. Just knock him out. I think that it says a lot about Connor Trinneer as an actor that he's had chemistry with everybody he's had a scene with, which says so much. And I really liked, even though they weren't in the scene, the conversation between Archer and him, and Archer reminding him about, just he knew what to say. That's an order, that respect, that was a good character development too, that there's something there that's really serious between the two of them. And there's a real respect for authority. And that's important to know about a character and to keep that in mind. So you can kind of use that for other storylines where you're like, I thought though that he would be, those little nuggets of history about people, I think, are so good to keep. It's good. It once again, world builds. Yeah. So something that's so new of a series that I found a lot of series that try really hard the first season to world build and are not always successful on it. Cause the 7th or 8th episode in, you get someone's parent visits or something that happened in episode 1 or 2 that you get a slight revisit 8 or 9 episodes later and go, there's not been enough time to build that. And the only thing that fixes that is more time to build that. Yeah. And that's a tough one to do. Yeah. But
all in all, it was a fun episode. I enjoyed it. It was nice to have something that kind of fueled my desire to keep watching.
There you go.
Because it was a rough start.
I was like, oh, thank God. More ghost stories any day.
Any day.
I take it.
All right. So that does it on our coverage on episode 4, Strange New World. We will be back next time chatting about episode 5, Unexpected, celebrating the 20th anniversary year of Enterprise. Until then, remember that you can subscribe to Discovering Trek by searching for us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or by heading to discoveringtrek.com. And where can folks find you on social media, Mr. Kasey Shafsky?
Well, usually at Fansets, putting on a ton of stuff and talk to them about how great their things are. But just on the Twitters, Kasey Shafsky, you can find me. That's about it. How about you?
You can find me at Trek Rewind on Twitter. You bet.
Nice. Well, if you are enjoying what we're doing here on Discovering Trek and the Trek Geeks Podcast Network, please consider supporting us on Patreon. As a subscriber, you can get access to the unedited recordings of episodes, as well as exclusive content and great subscriber rewards, like annual supporter pins from Fansets or exclusive Trek Geek Podcast Network t-shirts. We'd like to thank everybody who's an amazing producer of Discovering Trek. We are incredibly thankful for your support. And those producers are Mike Bovia, Chaz Bradshaw, Ken Bird, Kyle Castillo, Peter Craig, Craig Ewing, Al Godwin, Jackie and Chris Hackney, Kimberly Hartman, David Hood, Tony Lambest, Lionel Marchand, Matt McGonigal, Jim McMahon, Charlie Mulvey, Sean O'Halloran, Jamie Rogers, Chris Tribuzio, Ken Tripp, Christina Werther, Jess Vachon, and the senior producer of Discovering Trek, Jude Tatman.
If you would like to become a producer of Discovering Trek or even get access to the raw audio for Discovering Trek episodes, head on over to patreon.com/trekgeeks for all the details. Next episode, we all will talk about unexpected. Until next time, Kasey.
2 to beam out, but don't make me a tree.
Bye for now.
Music for Discovering Trek is provided by 5 Year Mission. They're writing an original song for each episode of Star Trek. Hear more of their music at 5yearmission.net. Discovering Trek is a production of Coconut Media Works. Executive producers Bill Smith and Dan Davidson. For more great Star Trek discussion, discover the other shows of the Trek Geeks Podcast Network at trekgeeks.com or find us in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app.
Coconut.